like if you do like.
Does anybody hate the name?
No.
My camera instinct was off the charts. That also.
Yeah, the damage has been done. We'll just stick with those.
I know.
Is anybody not in?
Carter. My name was disappeared
now.
No, I didn't.
I'm not even in yet, Christina.
Oh, I'm taking all these photos in raw.
Sorry. Okay.
Listen, I'm trying to get y'all highlights up.
Sorry.
What happened?
I'm sorry.
What happened?
I don't know what happened.
Folks are getting out. So I have 1, 2, 3.
I thought I was hosting.
You are hosting.
Yeah.
4, 5,
Oh,
6,
fuck.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 10
Huh?
people. Who's not in?
Then if you're not in.
Ben's not in.
I'm in.
I'm Ben.
No, we're not starting without him. That's not right.
Let's just wait like a couple.
I just need to enter the game pin and I'm in, Christina.
Hey! You want to
Oh.
play a fun game for some francs?
4, 4.
200 francs are on the table.
7, 8, 0.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, come on, join us.
Oh, hold on. Should I download the app?
Nope, you just have
No,
to
it's
put in a
just-
browser kahoot.it.
So Matt also has no idea.
All live streams going.
Matt Eager.
Instagram is
No, I
going.
already told him, like I made up with him.
YouTube is going, but it's not public yet. I'm making it public now.
I called
How many ones are we doing public?
Also, my toast is in the toaster. I need to go
Oh,
grab
the
that.
problem.
YouTube is live.
Okay. I'm gonna knock us in officially. All counts down in session.
Yes, thank you, President Ben. We appreciate you.
And if you only want, if you want the whole,
All right.
it's like 72.
How many more people do
High
you
speed
need?
is,
Why is it only letting
you can't do
people?
a half day like that, so it's like 72.
Ben didn't go in again.
Oh, there's 11. All right, we still need you.
I'm in.
Okay.
I didn't call about that.
All right. Speak now, forever hold your peace. I'm starting the game. Oh my God, where's my mouse? Okay, there we go. All right. So obviously this is based on career and professional services. So first question: what are services that our career and professional services office provides? Is it resume review, networking skills, interview practice, or a cover letter review?
Career and professional success.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Asheen. There is no wrong answer. Exactly. So if you are looking to,
Just every question, there's no wrong answer.
Where'd you get it wrong answer?
Number E.
Maybe she didn't like select.
did you not pick, sis?
They didn't let me pick anything.
That's so weird. I'm sorry that tech is being a jerk, but most people just assume that they only do resume review, but they also will do cover letter review. So if you're not great at writing cover letters, this is a great time for you to get in there and do that. Interview practice, if you're not feeling really great about your interview or networking skills, this is a great time for you to go to them and you can ask them about literally anything. So let's see who's at the top of our leaderboard. Radiant Lobster.
I think we're
Is that you? What? Yeah, just one.
When should you check your social media for inappropriate content?
Boom! I read the bathroom letters.
Thank you. Thank you. When should you check your social media for inappropriate content?
What does that mean? I think that's so arbitrary.
So when you're checking your social media for inappropriate content, which is a great question, you want to really check for anything that has super duper illegal stuff, like drinking underage or using any other drugs. And then you really just want to make sure that the stuff on your social media aligns with your values. So if you're also doing any other illegal stuff, please don't put that on your social media. It's a really terrible idea. But also you want to make sure that if you're reblogging or reposting anything, that it aligns with your values about who you are. You shouldn't have a whole thing, like if your Instagram is all ratchet stuff you do and then you use LinkedIn for your professional stuff, you really should make sure that everything aligns with who you are, both as a professional and a person, because they are going to look you up on all of your platforms and make sure that you are a great candidate and you are a great person to work with. So you really do want to make sure that you're checking to make sure that your social media is congruent with your values. Amazon Shark has jumped up in the leaderboard. When is Business business casual appropriate?
I'm not gonna lie, some of these questions are hard.
Yeah, some of them are. At an interview, at home, at a networking event, or when I'm already working on the job. Great, so I see we have like a little bit of confusion. So yeah, at home, sure, but it's kind of not, that's not the point. But at an interview, business casual is not appropriate. You really want to be looking at either traditional or executive format. What does that mean? So what that means is executive is wearing either a suit with slacks or pencil skirt for ladies or people who identify as female. You really want to be sure that an executive, you can wear some brighter colors, but in traditional styles of dress for business, you do really want to be wearing some neutral colors. During an interview, it is always best to try and stick closer to neutral colors, so that way you are putting forth your best professional image. Oh, we're gonna take a look at the next question. Respiration. Hi, Curtis. No, mouse. What I want you to do. Ooh, Smooth Duck has jumped on the top of the podium.
Kind of started, but you definitely just showing one.
If you are 21, you can post pictures of you drinking online.
Why not?
Oh, if you are 21, no. The answer is no.
It's just not looked upon.
It is not looked upon well.
Well, that question's poorly worded, Christina.
Fair. However, the answer is.
But this is career or professional related. I don't see why you would say.
Thank you. Could you? Yes. Should you? Which is should the answer would be what?
No.
No.
Thank
Even
you.
if you are 21, you do want to put your best professional image forward. So please try not to post pictures of you, even if you are at a legal bar. Okay. What color is appropriate to wear at an interview? What color is appropriate to wear at an interview?
Oh, yellow.
So, again, like we talked about, I know, but you really, again, in an interview, you really want to stick to neutral colors. Blacks, brown, navy blue. Thank you, Sarah. Navy blue is the best. I like it. It looks good on me.
I like blue as well.
It looks flattering on me.
Hi.
But you really want to stick to blacks, navy blues, or it could depend on your field. So where yellow could totally come in is if you're looking at a graphic design job that you're looking for, or a marketing position that you're looking for. Those are where your brighter colors could come in your more artistic fields. But if you are like our Paul College friends over here, or you are looking at a more executive position, you do really want to stick with neutrals. And if you're not sure, stick with neutrals. They're a very safe option. Cool.
Oh no.
Rocky Gazelle, shout out to the top. True or false? Your field determines what is appropriate for interview dress.
I'm lightly smart. Genius machine?
What?
Your field 100%. We just talked about this, right? Your field 100% determines what is appropriate for interview dress.
Well, I'm so for it.
So wait, then that's wrong. Mark off is the correct answer.
Is it false?
Yeah.
Damn it! Curses! Technology.
We're out of here.
I guessed right.
I'm sorry, guys. I
guess
meant to
you're
mark true, but yes,
that's
true.
wrong, apparently.
It should be. The answer should be true. I'm sorry.
It's really company based.
It is company. What did you say? It is company based. It is field based. So you really have to look at what your field is to make sure that you are in the correct area. I'll bump up the consolation prizes. I messed up. Cool.
Is it everybody who?
What is an endorsement in LinkedIn? A lot of charisma. So he's generally pretty good at public speaking. So if I was to say, if he gave a presentation, and then at the end of the presentation he could say, hey, could everybody take a minute and go on LinkedIn for me and endorse me for saying that I am a great public speaker. All of you could go and click on his LinkedIn profile and say that Sheem is a great public speaker. Why is this important? It's really great for folks to be able to say to an employer who do look at your LinkedIn pages that you're really great at something. So if you are really doing anything like a presentation in class, or you are helping out with a different project, you can ask any bosses or mentors to say, hey, could you endorse me for being great at Microsoft Office? Could you endorse me for being great at public speaking? Could you endorse me for being very creative on the job? Could you endorse me for being a great team player? And so those can be really great ways to enhance your LinkedIn profile. Mouse work with me. Which of these is considered as part of traditional dress? Which we went over a little bit. Traditional dress.
Oh.
No.
Wow, a bunch of people must have clicked on that one.
Yeah, listen. I'm
I
got
got
a
a
big
mix
screen
of-
here, and I'm just trying to click the right one.
Traditional dress. So, suits are the only option considered as part of traditional dress. Where a plaid button-down shirt would be our executive dress, our suits are really the only option for executive dress. Does that make sense? So executive would be mid-formal, whereas our traditional dress would be the most formal that you could possibly get. Then we have questions about that. I know it's a little confusing, but really you want to stick with traditional dress for more formal business events such as interviews, some networking events, whereas executive dress if you're going for a slightly lower high stakes position, or if you are in an artistic field or in a button-down shirts, or a little bit more colorful colors when we're wearing suits or slacks or blouses. Our khaki pants are considered business casual, which would be for more casual events. So if you are going to, say, just work on an everyday day, khaki pants would totally be appropriate, unless otherwise stated by a company. UNH is a very business casual school, so I don't necessarily have to dress formally all the time. Whereas when I worked at University of Pennsylvania, I had to dress more formally in a more executive style every single day for work. Whereas here, if I was going to something with the president, I would dress in business casual, which would mean I would wear some khaki pants, my polo. You all may have seen me in my khaki pants and my polo for move-in days, both move-in days. That would be considered business casual because this school is a more business casual setting. But if I'm working at, say, Harvard, I would not be wearing khakis and a polo for move-in day. I would be wearing something a little bit more fancy if I'm going to work every day. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Where is the CAPS office located? There's a hint. Where is it located? Here's the
Oh,
very teeny tiny.
They move it every year, Christina. They move it every year.
Where is it? Wood House.
It was under renovation last year.
Where is it?
I can't. I can't. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Put your glasses on.
It's okay. We're here to learn. Oh my goodness. So it is located in Hood House. So if you are looking to make a formal appointment, go to Hood House. You can get career advisors to look over every part of the job search with you, whether you're just starting out and you have no idea where to go, to if you actually need a business contract looked over, to make sure that you're getting a good deal. Oh. What is the best style of dress for an interview?
Ah, shoot.
Oh shit.
I got this one wrong.
Okay. Like I said, we're here to learn.
Oh, okay.
We want them francs.
I know. I'm upping the consolation prize because I messed up on a couple questions. Okay, so as we mentioned before, Traditional or executive, depending on your field, are going to be the best options for you. You really need to talk to a career professional about what field that you're in, what major you are, when you're going out for interviews to make sure that you're dressing appropriately for the field that you're in. Ow! Goodness. Not really, because I love Fairchild so much. No, 2 that's funny. I hate that it's like a little in the background. When should you arrive for an interview? When should you get there for an interview? Some of our friends are doing RA interviews or other internship interviews right now.
I don't know. I think the right answer isn't up there.
What?
The right answer is definitely not up there, in my opinion.
Yes, it is. It's two right answers. 5 to 10 minutes before is going to be the best time for you to arrive. You should be half an hour before. You should be preparing for your interview or making sure that you are traveling to your interview. But you really should show up between 5 and 10 minutes ahead of time, so that way your interviewer also has somewhere to put you. It sounds crazy. But often, for example, I'm doing RA interviews and you'll see a lot of new faces in the building during these next 2 weeks. Often I can just say like, okay, sit in the lounge, but if I have, for example, when we do RHD interviews, there simply aren't that many seats in the Res Life office. We've got about 2 bucket chairs. So there aren't that many places to sit. So you definitely want to make sure that, especially if they're interviewing a lot of candidates, that you show up not too close to on time, but not too early either. Make sense? What's the easiest way to prepare for an interview? It's one really easy step that you can take.
It's that first one.
All of the above.
Just all of them.
All of the above.
There's one of them that's more correct than the others, but all of the above.
Delete social media, seriously?
Yeah. Get rid of it, man. You don't need it.
Get rid of it all.
That's a shame.
Easiest thing that you can do.
Wait, what?
Google yourself. I'm serious. That sounds crazy, right? No, seriously, Google yourself. Your employers will be doing the same exact thing. They will be Googling you to see what kind of information pops up. So why not get ahead of the game and know what they're going to find out? Yes, ma'am.
What if you have someone with the same name?
Exactly.
That's a great question. What happens, right? I typed the Sheen's name in, found him on social media in 3 clicks. I type my name in, I can find myself in about 2 clicks. So see if you can find yourself, right? How hard is it going to be for an employer to find you and not other people with your name?
Oh, there's about 15 people before you get to me.
Yeah, see, Hannah's first picture.
There is way too many people with
Yeah, so literally, whenever you get a chance,
My
you're
name
doing your
is
social
so
media review
broad.
every 6 months or so.
Maybe
Literally
there's like
just
something
type your name into Google and see what pops up.
Some soccer action.
Which is good.
The first person that comes
Also
up
type in your
is
school.
Stanford grad.
I
wish I was like that.
So the point of this, y'all, is that I want you all to get thinking like your employers. Think like an employer. What are they going to try and do to find you to make sure that you are a great employee for them? So, yeah, it's really awkward and it's kind of creepy, but do it.
You Google me, you get a novelist, which I'm happy
The
about.
first thing that actually comes up of me is from the UNH Facebook page.
That's adorable.
Ah.
When should you send a thank you note or email? When should you send a thank you note or email?
Oh my god.
Always.
Food.
1 to 2 days after.
Yeah.
Rather coffee.
Graduation. No.
Yes.
Always nice.
Or
You should have
also,
brought a coffee.
Huh?
you
You
can
should
also
rather
send
coffee.
it after interviewing
What?
somebody at the
You
company.
said rather
So,
coffee.
y'all, this is key.
Huh?
If you are interested in a certain company or you're interested in a certain position, you can totally say, hey, I'm a student at UNH. I'd really like to interview you to see what your experience is working for X company or working in X field, or like, do you mind if I have like 5 or 10 minutes of your time either via phone call or via email? A lot of folks are super excited that students really want to get in touch with them, or they can recommend somebody else in their company to talk to. So if you are looking for an internship, or you are looking for that first job when you all become seniors and fly out of the coop. So please try and at least talk to somebody in your field, and you can get a sense of like what working at that company is like, or what working in that field is like. But once you do have your interview, thank you for shouting out the answer. 1 to 2 days after your interview, you should send either a thank you email to the person who interviewed you or the people who interviewed you, a phone call.
Yeah,
I
this is a
have,
phone call.
yeah, I also sent blank thank you cards in my desk, and I take them to conferences. So anybody who talked to me at a conference or anybody who interviewed me, I always take the physical address of the business and just send an email off. Or not email, I send a physical card off. So all those things could really put you over the edge between another candidate. So do try to send emails or phone calls or thank yous to whoever interviewed you. Okay, how many questions should you ask at the end of an interview? So the interview's over. How many questions do you ask? Perfect. 1 to 3.
Take these next time. I said time. You said time. I'm a question box, man.
Okay. We love curiosity. But you really should try to stick to 1 to 3 questions. In preparation, you might want to pick 5 to 6 just to think of in your head. But if those questions are already answered during the stretch of the interview, you want to have some replacement questions. If you're interviewing with a string of employers, so say you're at a career fair and you're interviewing with a lot of different companies, you definitely want to have 5 to 6 questions or even 10 questions in your wheelhouse, but you only want to ask 1 to 3 because you also don't want to be asking the employers the same thing every time. Or one of your questions might get answered through doing some research on the company, so you want to pick another question to ask. So, true or false? You should only have one person look at your resume.
Let's be smart about this, guys.
Oh shoot.
False. Have as many people as possible look at your resume. I can look at them. CAPS, you should have as many CAPS ambassadors and professionals look at your resume as possible. The more people you can get to look at it, the better a sense that you can get. Everybody's advice is valid, so you definitely want to get as many people to look at it as possible. Professors also.
Third place.
Professors can look at it. You don't have to have an appointment to see someone at CAPS, true or false? You don't have to have an appointment to see someone. Yes,
True?
absolutely, it's true. You don't have to have an appointment. We have drop-in hours that you can always go to. So please take advantage of drop-in hours. You don't have to have an appointment, so if you are looking to go get some career advice or you just want to ask one question, there's plenty of offices and they're by college, so they're going to have a lot more sense of what you need for your field. So just drop in and ask a question.
Damn, I've literally answered like 3 wrong in a row and I'm in second place right now. Like I don't know how.
You should set all your social media to private if you're worried about what employers will see in it. No! It raises more red flags if all your stuff is set to private. If mysteriously all your stuff is set to private one day, that raises more red flags.
But
so if you're open, you know, if you traditionally have it set to private, so like if your Insta and your Twitter are already set to private, don't open it for an interview. But if you suddenly close it, that looks weird. So,
But they can't see whether or not you've opened it or closed it if they haven't looked at it yet.
no, but don't be disingenuous is the point, right?
You never know who's watching.
If you are doing your due diligence in updating your social media to make sure that inappropriate content is not on it, then you shouldn't have to close it. Does that make sense?
I think just closing it about a month before an interview would be easier.
I mean, you can have some social media like closed off, but and not every single one should be like closed off.
If you have like 5 social media platforms and all of them are closed, that looks
Sus.
What are you? Sus, exactly. Thank you, Machine. I appreciate you.
Maybe I'm just a man of the past.
But if you
My life is my life. You don't need to.
You're really just trying to think about yourselves as brands, right? You're building your own personal brand. What do you want your brand to stand for? We know brands like Coca-Cola. We know brands like Johnson & Johnson, where we trust to protect our children. But whatever. So, you know, those are brands that are trusted for different values. What do you want your brand to be? What values do you want associated with your brand? And your social media is your brand. People will look at the pictures on your social media or the posts that you make or the things that you retweet or the things that you repost and make value judgments based on you. So think about that when y'all are posting a new post or retweeting or whatever. What brand do you want to project to the world? CAPS can help international students get internships and jobs after graduation.
So competitive.
That's okay. Okay, so it is true. They can definitely help folks get jobs and careers after graduation. They help identify what employers through Handshake. They help identify what employers can help with visas or willing to sponsor international students for visas. They also let students know about professional training opportunities where international students can work while they're still in school. So if you're an international student, it would be a really great idea for you to take a visit to them. CAPS only works with all college students. True or false?
Don't be.
Right, it's false. They work with everybody.
Are you purposely trying to get them wrong?
I got a couple.
So last one, CAPS will help you negotiate and review your employment contracts.
You already gave us the answer.
Yes, I did give you the answer earlier. I did it on purpose. Yes, they will help review your employment contract and they will help you check benefits. They will help you see if you're getting a good deal or not. And they'll even teach you how to negotiate your salary. So they're really, really helpful, y'all. Now, let's see. No, not doing what I want you to do.
I dropped 2 places because I misclicked.
Okay, third place we have Amazon Shark. Who's Amazon Shark? Me! Come forward. Second is Diligent Tiger. And first is Rocky Gazelle. Yeah! Alright.
First social.
So you will win 200, 150, and everybody else gets 20. Okay.
Thanks for participating.
Yes, thanks for playing, everybody. A few announcements before I take off. Our t-shirt contest is running, so if you have a t-shirt design, please submit it. I'm going to send out the link again. There are a few rules. It has to say Fairchild in the name. It has to be related to international connections. And no profanity or no profanity, no bias against other employees.
Thanks for joining us.
So, please submit it.
Here you go.
Do you want
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Please take snacks.
Ben.
Love you.